to be able to run code written in a programming language, you basically need an environment. And for Python, this environment is called python.exe. Python.exe is basically responsible for executing Python files. So in our previous lecture, we have seen the difference between text files and Python files. Text files have the extension of .txt and Python files .py. So now let us provide the environment for Python files and understand the difference thoroughly. Okay, in our previous video, we had two files, learn Python and hello-world.py. So you might not see the extensions of these files. For example, here it's just learn Python and it's just hello world. So if you want to be a programmer, a software engineer, a software developer, you really need to see these extensions because file extensions are really important to us. So to be able to do that, you should go File Explorer. Here you'll just click View, and here we have Show, and just you will choose File Name Extensions. So when I click this, I should be able to see the extensions of the files as well. Okay, now I'm able to see them. So here everything is all right. Now we need an environment, to run our Python code, and to be able to do that, we need to download some files. And to do that, we'll go python.org, which is the official website for Python documentation, application, and it also has some other features on the website as well. So let us just type Python download. I'm gonna say Python download. All right. Here is the official website, which is python.org. You can go to this website. And now, as you can see, I have my Python download option here. And if you are curious about community documentation and downloads, you can go through them. There are also some other download options here. For example, you can go for macOS or other platforms as well, like Linux-based distributions. But I will go with Windows. And I will use the 3.11.4 release, which is one of the latest versions of Python for Windows. And if you want to use some other releases of Python, you can just pick a proper one for yourself. But please be careful with sticking the latest versions of Python. So let us download this file. Okay, now I have my Python downloaded, and I will click this. Okay, here I have my installation screen. And in this screen, we have install now and customize installation. So I will click install now. But before doing this, let us see something. There's an option here called add python.exe to path. So I will explain this option, and which is very, very important. But before explaining this option, let us install now, okay? All right, installation is done. So you can just click close. All right, so now I have my Python environment because I have downloaded Python. I also have a file on my desktop, which is hello-world.py. So since I provided this environment for my Python file, I should be able to run my Python files. So to be able to do that, we don't have an editor other than Notepad. Let's go to Notepad and see other file. I'm going to see my file. I'm going to right click and I'm going to say open with Notepad. So here I have code, which is print hello world. Now I want to run this code. And to be able to do this, I will open my terminal command prompt. So I will say command prompt. So here I am in users OSNKO, and I want to see the files under this directory. To be able to do that, we have an instruction, which is dir. When we use this instruction, we can see all the files and directories under this directory. So here I have my desktop, and to be able to reach my hello-world.py, I should go to desktop. So I will say cd desktop. Cd basically means change directory. When we do that, we actually go to directory we want to be in. So here I will say cd desktop. So I should be in desktop now. So if you have to go backwards to reach this file, you should say cd ... All right. And it will just take you to previous directory. So I'm going to say cd desktop again. And to autocomplete, you can click tab, and I'm going to click tab now. And now I'm in desktop. So here I want to see the files. So I'm going to say dir again. And as you can see, I have my hello-world.py here. Now, I have my environment. I have my file. I want to run this Python file. So to be able to do that, we need to use a command, which is Python. When we type the file name, it should give us the result of this file. So in this file, we have print hello world, which should show us the result of print function, and we should be able to see hello world. So I'm going to say Python space hello-world.py. So when I click enter, I need to see the result. Python was not found. So there's a problem here. And to be able to understand this problem, we first need to know where our Python is located. We have downloaded Python in our computer, but it is in a specific location. So to be able to do that, I will go to File Explorer and Downloads again. So let us go to File Explorer. and download. So here I have my Python installation, and I'm going to double click it again. Since we have installed Python and did the setup process, it says you want to modify it, repair it, or uninstall it. So I'm going to say modify. So here you can leave everything as it is. There's nothing important to understand for now. And on this screen, there's something very important that we need to understand. At the beginning of our installation, we had an option, add python.exe to path. Actually, this is the same option with that. It just does the same thing. Add Python to environment variables. So why we were not able to run our Python code on our terminal? Because it's in this location. And if you look at our location, it's desktop. So we don't have Python environment in our Python file location. And since we don't have that environment, it just says Python was not found. So that was the problem. But when I want to run my Python files, should I go to this directory, cd, app data, local programs, Python, and Python 3? And I can just do some minor changes. And in every change, should I go through all of this directory typing? So it's a lot of work. Instead of doing this, I want an environment. I want a place in my computer. And I want to store some of the directories that I use frequently. For example, this. In this directory, I have my Python installation, python.exe. And when I type Python, I want my computer automatically search for Python directories. And if it can find this directory, it should be able to run my Python code. Okay, that's very important to understand. When we click add Python to environment variables, and it actually do this. And what it does is that it is actually auto-completing that directory for us. And we don't take the responsibility for typing this directory, to reach Python application. By just writing Python, we are able to reach Python application from any directory of our computer. So you can go to desktop, you can go to downloads. When you run for Python, it will just search in environment variables. And if this is existed there, then it will find this and it will just automatically run our Python code. So it makes sense. And, to add this environment to this directory to our environment variables, we'll just choose add Python to environment variables. Okay. This makes us comfortable while developing on our terminal, using our terminal. We don't have to go to this directory again and again. So I know I explained this thoroughly, but this was an important option. So I'm going to say install again. Then this will modify the previous installation. Everything is all right. So now I should be able to run my Python code. Here I'm going to say Python hello world.py, but still Python was not found because we should restart our terminal. I'm going to close this and I'm going to open it again. And I'm going to go to desktop where my Python file is located. So, let's see if our Python file is still here. Okay, it's here. And I'm going to say Python hello world.py. Now I should be able to see the result. Okay, everything is great. We have talked about this environment variables. So let us see environment variables. How can we find them? How can we add them manually? So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to type environment variables and you will see this option, edit the system environment variables. So when you click this, here we have environment variables and you see that path. At the beginning of our installation, there was add python.exe to path. It actually mentioned this part. Okay, here I will say path. But before doing this, we have user variables and system variables. So I will just do this for my user. I don't want to affect other users with this change. If they want, they can do their own. So now I'm going to click path and let's say edit. Okay, so before we click that option, add to environment variables option, these Python directories were not existed here. But when we click that, it is just added to this environment variables. Now we are able to see this. When we run Python space any file name .py, it is actually looking for these directories. For example, there are some other directories here. It's just looking for it. Okay, this is not where Python is located. It's looking for another one. Then when it comes to Python directory, it just finds it. It just executes that command Python space hello world.py for us. And we can do this anywhere, any directory in our computer. So that was very important. Instead of showing this environment variables part, I just wanted to add it while setting up Python. Now we are able to see how that works. Okay, everything is great. We can say, okay, and let's just close all of the tabs. So it's great. We have our Python files, we have our terminal, and now we are able to run our Python files since we have the proper environment, since we set up everything. But the thing is, are we going to write all of this code on our notepad and run it on our terminal? So early developers did that for a long time. But today we have some advanced tools that we can use our development process, and they will make us save a lot of time and energy. Now it's time to understand the logic of IDEs, integrated development environments. I will see you in the next one.